Recording. Okay, so I'm sitting here with Amanda Woodbury, and let's start with just your crochet story. So tell us about your crochet story, your crochet journey in any way you'd like to.
So I started crocheting in 2014. I had two toddlers who did not want to hang out with me, so I was kind of bored. And I was kind of not in a great place mentally, but I wasn't like terrible. It was just one of those, I didn't really know where my life was going other than being a stay-at-home mom. And so I was bored a lot trying to figure that out. And so I was cleaning out my hope chest that was inherited to me, and I found this old, dingy, musty bag that had stuff in it. And when I opened it, it was just these gorgeous doilies and books from the 80s on how to make doilies and tablecloths. And I was like, what is this? This is crazy, because there was hooks, there was knitting needles, and like I kind of knew what those were, but not anything specific. So I just basically hopped on YouTube like every other millennial out there and just deep dived into what crochet was. And I started that day with my grandmother's hook and some dingy old yarn that, I don't have my first project anymore, but I just deep dived into crocheting, and then I fell in love with making hats and learned that I don't really like making blankets or anything that takes more than a week. And so I ended up having a bunch of hats laying around, and my husband was like seeing me like totally hyper focus on this new thing. And he was like, there was yarn everywhere. There was hooks of different sizes and hats everywhere. And he's like, what are we doing with all this? Because it was just in my living room. And I was like, I don't know. And then 6 months later, I had an opportunity to sell stuff at a craft fair. And that's actually how it started into my business side of my journey. But basically all throughout learning how to crochet and learning it one stitch at a time, I slowly got out of my shell and became more extroverted and really started becoming who I really truly am.
So you were inspired because of a project that you saw, and that was something that you wanted to recreate, and that was what started your path to crochet, right?
Yeah, I did. So the weird thing is I did find doilies on YouTube, and I did make a doily. It was within my first week of learning how to crochet. However, I would say beginners should not be doing doilies. They're definitely, they can. It's not impossible. It's just, I would not teach.
Not advisable as a first step. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's kind of when I successfully created a doily, I was just like, okay, I love this. This is amazing. This is magic. Like, how do you take this from this? And it's like, poof, it's amazing.
This is a community feature. I love just kind of seeing what else people, have going on in their lives and how else we connect.
3 things about me. Well, I love food. I'm a foodie. I say that I love trying new foods, but I'm also cautiously trying new foods. Like, I'm kind of like, will I like it? Do I stay in my comfort zone? But put a plate of tacos in front of me and you're going to be my best friend forever. And so I love cooking as well. Cooking is kind of like, if my hands are too crampy to crochet, I'm cooking something instead. And trying new recipes. Camping. Camping is pretty much my only outdoor activity. I don't like hiking so much unless it's like less than a mile. Then I'm okay with light hiking. So that's what we do in the summertime. I love going out and getting in nature and just releasing anything that's been holding me back. So I do a lot of grounding, that kind of mindset stuff with camping. It's just so relaxing and rejuvenating. It's amazing. I'm also totally into true crime. It's just, I will deep dive and forget about my entire day before I know it. And then I'm like, oh wait, I should probably make dinner.
Your life, but you've taken the things in crochet that have really helped your life, and you've turned that into lots of different business ventures. Mm-hmm. So overarching, tell us about Amanda's crochet business journey.
Wow.
And then
So, because there is an umbrella, it's basically put yourself first, one stitch at a time. That's basically the umbrella. That's my go-to when I have to remember like what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I do personal coaching for teaching you how to crochet, as well as throwing in mindset coaching that will help you to intentionally crochet so that you are putting yourself first. This is a craft that is only for you. The main focus is this is something that's a very personal journey, and it should be for you first, regardless if it's helping you journal deeper or just to learn more about yourself. A personal journey on that. Teaching is first and foremost what I love to do. And then second to that is writing my own patterns. Of course, those are really fun. I try to keep those as simple and not really going beyond the easy level in crochet because, again, it ties into patterns that are easy to follow so that you're not overthinking everything and you're really just getting that intentional self feeling when you are crocheting. So that becomes the meditation side of it. So all my designs are very simple, and I always make sure that my patterns are written as simple as possible.
Who is the person that you're helping with crochet and the mindset support?
Mostly I reach out to people who traditional meditation hasn't worked before. They can't quiet their brain. They're overthinkers. They're overanalyzers. They need something. They're productive people. Sometimes a lot of clients that I happen to get actually also have some kind of neurodivergent issue like ADHD or anxieties. And this is something that, and I teach them crochet, or if they already know somewhat about crochet, I can help them build their skills to a point to where they can intentionally sit down and crochet so that they can calm their brain, release their stress, work through an anxiety issue. Not a therapist in any way. Want to throw that out there. It's just something that I've discovered with myself, and I just love sharing the gift that crochet brings when it comes to the mindfulness side of it.
Right. So is this for people who already know how to crochet and they're just looking for something more? Or is this a process for people who are looking for something more and they're trying to find it in a craft space, and you're offering, a crochet resource for those people? Or is it for both?
So it's for both. It can cross. So usually when somebody reaches out to me for that purpose, I will usually do basically like an interview with them, a first meet interview. And I will find out what their skill levels are, if they already crochet, and if not, then that way I can adjust to what they want. So if it's just more on the mindset, they already know how to crochet, maybe they want to just build, maybe learn a couple new stitches, I build around that. And then I also say, okay, so you know these skills, this is a technique that you can use with those skills to help you get into a physical meditation or to help you journal deeper. That's where my book comes in as well. Crochet, the creative journaling experience. So it literally is marrying crochet patterns and journal prompts in one book. So these are very specific patterns that I have either previously designed, and there are new patterns that are not published. You pick a pattern that you know that you can not think too hard on, so that you're not focusing on the stitch work itself. And then journal prompts that can go very deep or stay surface level, whatever you're comfortable with. And I've created a formula that is basically a 20-minute timeout for you to utilize literally crocheting and writing in your journal at the same time. And yes, the book does have pages of journaling. So you don't have to fumble with a bunch of like, oh, you got to find your journal and you got to find your pen. It's like, no, you keep this together. You keep it with your crochet projects. And that way you're like, oh, I need a 20-minute timeout. I'm overthinking the situation, or I need to discover what is holding me back today. What is it that's bothering me today? And then you can pick a pattern, pick a journal prompt, pick timeout for yourself, 20 minutes, and get that done.
How is this different from other things that might be out in the crochet world?
There's a lot of attention on the de-stressing, using crochet to de-stress. However, I have found that some of the patterns are more complicated, and so it can be stressful to even do those projects. So that's kind of not working. So what I do is I'm setting out to kind of just say, hey, no, there is actually a specific way to de-stress with crochet. So I believe that it is skill specific. It needs to stay within what your comfort zone is. I'm focusing more on the beginner to easy level things that you literally are mindless when you're working on it.
You have been part of the American Crochet Association probably since we first started. So you're one of our poster children, right?
Yeah.
So what brought you to the American Crochet Association? What were you looking for?
I was Googling crochet things. I just wanted to learn more about crochet, and I wanted to see if there was anything out there other than YouTube, and crochet books that you can find at any craft store. And so I literally just typed in American crochet, because I also had learned at that point there's a difference between UK and American terms and all that. But yeah, I literally just typed it. And then your website was like the first thing that popped up. So I just clicked on it and I was like, what is this? And I was like, learning more about crochet? Yes, please. And then I basically just joined, and I was like, there's a Facebook group. Okay, let's go there. And then I just basically got obsessed. So.
And you've been with us ever since.
Yes. Answer there. So personally, it definitely helped me realize my own personal skill level, where it actually was, what I'd already known. It kind of made me realize that like I kind of learned things backwards, and I was like, oh, so that's how you're supposed to learn things. And, and so I was like, okay, so that's how you can. And then I was taking the learning path course first, because I think that's what was there. I don't know if there was anything else there at that point in the beginning. So I just deep dived into that, and I learned so much more about yarn and the tools and different stitches, and so much that was in there in those 12 courses. And it just kind of blew up my mind. I was just like, there's all this there's an entire industry. There's so much you can do. Like, this is never ending education. Like, this is amazing. And then learning how to read patterns, because I had learned originally on YouTube. And so I was kind of held back by only being able to learn new things by watching tutorials. And I kind of started getting books, but I didn't quite understand what they were trying to say. And then I would have to search those terms on YouTube and be like, okay, that's what they meant there. But going through the courses, I learned how to read patterns properly. And so now I mostly do everything based off of patterns. So that's where it was personally. As soon as you started putting up business stuff, I'd already had started my journey in business. And so once you started putting stuff up, I was like, okay, here's now how I can learn properly in this industry. Here's how to become an instructor. Pattern writing, yes, please. All of that stuff. So it kind of was in tune with my journey at the same time, like as you were adding stuff to ACA. So business wise, it kind of grew with me. So that kind of helped a lot in that aspect as well. Oh, I don't even know if I can answer that, because it's everything. I'm actually really into the monthly crochet alongs right now. So right now that's kind of my favorite thing. Because then it's like, oh, I don't have to think about what I'm going to make next. I can just see what's up next in the ACA, and then I'll just make that. So right now, I would say that is kind of my favorite. But overall, I would say the professional courses, because it does bleed into my personal life as well.
What advice do you have for someone who wants to start a crochet business?
Make sure that it's what your heart wants. And there is no shame in the reason why you want to start it. If it's purely because you want to make money, then honor that and find a solution that works on building your business for that reason. If it's sharing your gift and money isn't the main point, then deep dive into why that is at the heart and the soul of your business and start from there and go from there.
That's really good advice, actually. I like that.
Thanks.
So glad I asked.
Just kind of popped in the top of my head. Just one place.
Okay.
I would just say they can friend me on my personal profile, Facebook profile, because I lead them in different directions from there. As I do put personal stuff, but it is me. So it's not just solely about crochet, but I do keep it not too personal. So it's, of course.
Okay. Well, that's all I had. And I'm so excited about this. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think I have everything that I need. So I'm going to stop recording now.
Okay.
Unless there's anything else that you want to add. You think we missed anything?
They can just follow me on my main profile and
Okay.
we can be friends.
Okay. I'm hitting the stop recording.